Who wants to make more money in the music business? All right, who here is doing some or exclusively original material? Who's performing it? Who's recording it? Who's doing both? All right, if you're not doing that or you don't aspire to do that, you should probably go get a drink because I don't have anything useful for you. For everybody else, I'm here to talk to you about how the money works. Okay, I run a boutique label. When I moved to San Antonio, I came here and I thought, man, this town's amazing. And why do they not have their shit together? I came here with the mission to make this town more professional and to make everybody money. And even my enemies to this day are putting checks into their pocket every quarter. So, who knows what a PRO is?
Performance Rights Organization.
And there are how many in the United States?
Three big ones.
And they are?
ASCAP, BMI, and
CSAC. Okay, forget CSAC. Unless you get lucky, you're probably not going to get to CSAC. So your options are BMI or ASCAP. I highly recommend BMI because they pay quarterly, they pay more often, and they pay more. How do I know this? Because my good buddy who taught me everything I know about publishing is ASCAP, and we talk every quarter when we get our checks. So, the question is, what does this really look like? So when you're out there and you're playing music, you have a couple of options. Let's say you have your band and you got 10 songs and you're going to be like, all right, I'm going to go out and I'm going to rock my 10-song set. And you go out and you play it, you play your thing, and you do, let's say you do 100 shows a year. I don't know, how many shows a year do you guys do? How many shows a year do you do?
Singly, much, well over 100.
Well over 100. How many shows a year do you do?
I am more in the recording than the show, but yeah. Probably 10.
10.
Yeah.
And you?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know, a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
50, 60, 200?
Definitely 100 plus.
100 plus. Okay, so we clearly have a range. There are some people who are grinding it, and some people are kind of just doing other things as well. Okay, so let's, for simplicity's sake of numbers, if you're doing a coffee shop gig, right now what these things are paying out is about 35 cents a tune. Okay, these numbers fluctuate hugely because when you look at both BMI and ASCAP, these are organizations that pay out between 88 and 89% on the dollar, which means if they take in $1 of all the licensing fees that they collect, and they collect everywhere. They collect from airports, they collect from old folks' homes, they collect from hospitals, they collect from city parks, they collect from bars, they collect from jukeboxes, anything imaginable where you hear music, they are paying a fee. And if they're not paying a fee, they're gonna get a visit from the goons, and then someone's gonna put some shit on Facebook and they're gonna be like, oh my god, they're shutting us down. And it's like, sorry dude, that's copyright law, has been for 100 years. This is a bill like the electric bill. You can't do that, get out of the game. You don't out of the game and you're screwing everybody in the room. And those people are your enemy. Understand that. That doesn't mean you're not going to play those places because a gig's a gig. Right? Let's be real about this. But those people, they're already out of business. So, do what you got to do. For those licensed venues, when you play that, think about it. Okay, you did do your 10-song set, 35 cents a song in an old folks' home or coffee shop. That means 9 months later, approximately, you're going to get a bonus check for $3.50 off of that gig on top of your wages. Now, if you're doing 100 of those, how much is that?
300.
There you go. Wouldn't you like to get $300 a year extra just for doing what you're already doing?
Anytime.
Who wants that? Right. Okay, now imagine if you're doing more than that and you're not doing those kinds of shows. Imagine you're playing a club that has food and they got a nice crowd and they got alcohol and they got music 7 nights a week and they charge a cover charge. That's more like $1.25 a gig. Let's just call it $1. Your 10 sets, that means every time you do that gig, you're getting $10 extra every time you do that. Times 100, that's how much? $1,000. Who wants $1,000 a year? Okay, who's recording? Who's recording original music? Celeste?
Yeah.
Right. And how many original tunes are you recording all the time?
I don't even know.
You don't even know. What are you doing with them?
I'm releasing them now.
On what?
Yeah, on iTunes and everything. So
What's your aggregator?
My aggregator, CD Baby.
All right, who knows what an aggregator is? All right, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people who don't want to admit it. All right, an aggregator is a company, a third-party entity that puts stuff out that you can't deal with or don't have the time to deal with or you don't want to deal with. An aggregator is something that you want to use because in the digital age you want to use an aggregator. because the amount of money you're going to make off of this thing, while it can be substantial, is a pain in the ass to get. Because trust me, you don't want to be dealing as an individual entity dealing with 90 or 100 different downloading streaming sites. Oh my God, please use CD Baby. They're awesome. One-time fee. They're not like TuneCore, where it's an annual fee, and they do 60% less people, and CD Baby takes 9% off the top. Oh my God, it's the best deal you'll ever see in the music business. Okay, what do these numbers really, really look like? Okay, I brought my royalty statements. So, before we do that, it's really, really important to manage your intellectual copyright properly. Because if you don't do that and you don't take the time to register your tunes and fill out your paperwork and do these things, you're not going to get any of this money. And people are like, well, my brother, he knew this dude who was in this band, and it's like, they got screwed all the time. And I'm like, well, your brother who knew this dude in this band was an idiot and didn't bother to do the research. This stuff is available for you. BMI.com, ASCAP.com, go on there, read everything. It's there for you. It's not rocket science. People are like, you need to get a comprehensive understanding of copyright, which you do. You need to get a comprehensive understanding of publishing, which you do. It's not rocket science. And if you don't want to do that, or you don't have the personality to do that, or you don't have the skill set to do that, find somebody to do it for you. There are record labels that will do it for you. There are people you can hire to do some of this stuff for you. You can make a deal. There's no end to how you can make this stuff work. Remember, it's the music business. There are no rules, there are only regulations. And if you take the time to understand the regulations of the music business, oh my God, you can put some money in your pocket as a nobody. How do I know this? Because I'm a nobody and I'm putting money in my pocket. That's how I know this. Okay, the biggest thing about what's going on right now in the digital revolution, it is a revolution because lawsuits are getting settled left and right. Everybody's getting sued, everybody's getting dragged into court. There are unbelievable things going down right now. If you don't believe me, please go look up Dean K and subscribe to the Dean's List. You should be writing this down. If you are not a member of the ASCAP Daily Briefs or the Dean's List, which is basically the same thing these days, you need to be. Because these guys crap so much knowledge into your inbox every day, it's oh my God, unbelievable. And please read everything on there for at least a year. Once you have that down for a year, okay, then you can start skimming and deciding what you do and do not want to read, because there's too much going on. So, when I talk about a rapidly evolving environment, this is what I mean. Okay, so I decided to, before this lecture, I was like, let's jump on and let's see what really was happening with my royalty statements. So, at last quarter 3, I looked on 3 years ago and I thought, okay, how many things were paying me outside of my performance royalty? So, who knows what a performance royalty is? Yep, you.
The royalties you get from performance.
Absolutely, right? Totally awesome. So, at that time I looked and I had everything, all of my royalties were strictly about gigs that I was doing, play a licensed venue, and I got paid for them. And it was a couple of hundred every quarter. It's kind of awesome. If I'm touring heavily, I could push that to $2,000. And I mean 250, 260, 270 nights a year, which is, okay? So I looked at and I thought, okay, 3 years ago I had one additional royalty payment from SOCAN. Who knows what SOCAN is? SOCAN is the Canadian answer to ASCAP. And I got $1.33 in airplay for that. And I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. So 2 years ago I looked, but know what Spotify is? All right, so 2 years ago I looked and I was like, Spotify paid me a whopping 62 cents in royalties. 1 year ago I looked and I had 6 different entities, including YouTube, which paid me $92.29. Now, this is just a quarterly payment. And then last quarter I had 13 different entities that paid me $877.35. That's not counting my performance royalty. That is strictly internet broadcast royalties. That's not ad revenue, okay? For you CD Baby people, this is strictly intellectual property. You have to understand how to manage it. You have to understand how to capitalize it. You have to understand how to exploit it. That means if you're on a hip hop label and you're working with all these guys and you're making deals, I got like 20 tracks where I got 5%, and sometimes that 5% is a smackingly awesome, huge amount of money. Depends on what kind of streams you're looking at. Okay, that's a big thing about it. Now the beauty is, as I looked at these things, and I thought to say, because for me it's a question of what I call spreading your nets. You need to be ready to capture every fraction of cent that comes your way. Because there's less money in the music business than ever, but there's more ways to get paid. And this is the numbers game because it's not millions, it's billions. But when you look at the online world, okay, this is who's paying you now. iTunes, which, do you know how many different variations of iTunes there are right now? There's 6 different variations of iTunes, and that's just within the United States. Every different country has a separate version of iTunes. There's Google, there's Deezer, there's Spotify again, which has a couple of different global categories. You got Amazon again, which has at least 20 different country categories. You have a secondary category of Amazon. You got Yandex, you got AWA, you got Rhapsody, you got Groove, you got Mix. And that's just off the first 50 sites of my royalty check for the past 2 years, and I'm nobody. If you're actually somebody, this thing looks incredibly different. So, how do you really do it? Okay. What do they look like? Okay, so you got Apple Family, Apple Individual, Apple Student, Apple Child, Groove Music, Pandora, Pandora Plus, Rhapsody Internet, Spotify Free, Spotify Premium, Tidal, YouTube, YouTube Red, and that other stuff. So what do these things look like? They are fractions of pennies. The question is, how do you really monetize it? And it's like, the big thing is, you have to understand your presence is what power these things. It's like, same thing if you're selling vinyl. Your presence is what power these things.